What's up, peeps? Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about a line that I wanted to do this video for quite a long time. There's a line that you guys know that I own pretty much almost every bottle from the line except for one. A lot of them are discontinued right now, and that is the L'HOMME EDP line by Guerlain. And so I wanted to do kind of like a buying guide for that. So without further ado, let's get it. Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka FragranceDoud, back with another fragrance video, and a video I've been wanting to do for a long time, and that is a buying guide for Guerlain's L'HOMME EDP line. I've been waiting to get a bottle of L'HOMME EDP L'Intense for a while, but I couldn't find it for a good price or it was sold out. So since I had the decants of all of them, or the two that I was missing because they're discontinued, I decided I was just going to do it today. I am leaving out Sport, which is the only one I do not have any fluid of. I used to, but I'm leaving it out. It's just not good. It's not worth even picking up or going after it, just an FYI. So with that said, we're going to be talking about the 6 that are in the line that I currently have something to talk about, and that is L'HOMME EDP Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, Extreme, L'Intense, Cool, and Cologne. Before we get into it, as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and if you like my content, consider following me on Instagram and TikTok. So we're going to get into it here with the first one, which is by Guerlain. It's L'HOMME EDP Eau de Toilette. So L'HOMME EDP Eau de Toilette, I just want to let you guys know, I'll let you know throughout this video, the bottles have changed over time. The colors of the caps are now all black. Some of the sides are all black now. They used to be purple or red or whatever. So if you see ones that have either a different side, different cap, different face, it's not because it's fake. It's because they have been changing it up. If you want to know, you can ask me the question. But there is a bunch of different types of bottles, or the colors of the bottles. So this line revolves around a few different notes. Usually almond is in every single one of them. There's usually either tonka or vanilla, but it's usually almond and tonka is what it's known for. Then there's usually some kind of underlying woods or leather sitting in the background. With that said, in the L'HOMME EDP Eau de Toilette, the main notes that you get in it are almond, tonka, citrus, and cedar. So this one is going to be one of the freshest in the line. Obviously, there's Sport. Again, I just didn't like that. I don't even remember what it smells like outside of I just didn't like it very much. All the rest of these I do like. Then you obviously have your spring and summer related one, which is Cologne. You also have your minty summer one, or more spring, which is Cool. This one is just going to be kind of like the middle of the road, most versatile that you can wear all year round. So when you first spray it on, you get that citrus. You get a little bit of an aromatic feeling in the background. You also do get that woodiness, but for the most part, again, this is centered actually the least around the tonka and the almond. While there is a little bit more of that nuttiness, this one has a little bit more of a freshness than the other ones I'm going to mention in this line, and not as much of that powdery aspect. So if you're looking for a less powdery version of this, I would say this is probably the one in the line that does that. Again, there's a little bit of leather background to this one, and again, an aromatic background that comes off just slightly herbal almost. But it's very, very nice. It has a little bit of a freshness. It has a little bit of a deepness. The only thing is that I'm glad that they continued building on the line, because with this one, the performance is never bad with any of these Guerlains. You get about 5 hours from this one and then up for the rest, except for Cologne. But yeah, I'll tell you about that. So that's the original. I'm not going to stay with these all day. I'm just going to let you know a little bit about them. But if you're looking for, this is the only one that is sold in like Saks and Nordstrom Rack and stuff like that, that you can actually buy in the United States if you're looking in store. It's the only one that's sold in store. So this is, again, based around citrus, almond, leather, stuff like that, woods, cedar. You get that in the base, really nice. Going into the next one, we're just going to go straight up the line. The next one is, since we went from the Eau de Toilette, we're going to go to the Eau de Parfum. So this is Guerlain's L'HOMME EDP Eau de Parfum. So the sides of this used to be the same color as that, like almost like that dark purple brown. And then they also had a pink one, I believe. But this one, again, it just looks like that. So the L'HOMME EDP Eau de Parfum, the main notes that this one's centered around are almond, cherry, vanilla, and tonka. There is a also like a leather incensey background as soon as you get into the dry down. But this one is stationed mostly around almond, tonka, and cherry. This one actually can come off a little bit too formal and unisex for a lot of people. I actually personally love it. It all depends on my mood though. Like right now, today, I'm smelling it and I'm like, wow, that's really freaking good. But sometimes I smell it and I'm like, I don't think that's something I want to wear today. It's situational. The cherry in it isn't like a lost cherry. This is like a deeper, darker cherry. The almond and tonka really do come forefront, so it's like a nutty cherry. It's really nice. It's not like the almond cherry that you get in lost cherry at all. So if you have that in your mind, get it out of your mind. It's a unisex leaning masculine fragrance for sure. I could definitely see a woman wearing this from time to time. As you get to the dry down, it does get a little bit more masculine. Again, you get that leather, woody, and then slight smokiness from that incense as you build your way in, and then you get some vetiver in there as well. Overall, L'HOMME EDP Eau de Parfum is the one that I would recommend the least amount of blind buys for this one because it is very situational. People either love or hate this one. This one is the easiest to blind buy, the original. But with that said, because it's just versatile and a lot of people like certain things, like whether it's the citrus or the almond, this one is very, very particular. So be careful with it. I thought this was going to be one of my favorites. And while it's still good, it's not even in my top 10, top 15 fragrances out there. But L'HOMME EDP Eau de Parfum, if you like cherry, something sweet, you want to get a little more unisex on that line DNA, then definitely try it out. And there is no mistaken, every one of these fragrances does have that line DNA, which is that almond powdery tonka. It is in every one of them. You notice it's in every one of them. Some of them it's a bit dialed back like the original. But with that said, I just wanted to give you a heads up. If you've tried one, you'll know at least a little bit of what is in each one of these. Going into the third one, my favorite from this line, and mostly everybody's favorite from this line. This is L'HOMME EDP Extreme, or Extreme, whatever you want to call. L'HOMME EDP Extreme. Okay, so this is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Fall and winter centric, absolutely. So L'HOMME EDP Extreme, the main notes you get in it are almond, plum, cinnamon, and tobacco. Again, there's also a leather and a cedar in here. Later down the road in the dry down, the plum is warm. It has a bit of like a fruity warmth. It's really, really nice. Then you get that cinnamon, giving it a little bit of a sweet spice. And then you also do have that beautiful tobacco that comes in. It never really becomes like a prominent tobacco like you would get in something like tobacco vanille or harad that are stationed around tobacco. This is just a beautiful tobacco, like a moist tobacco that's mixed into it. The main notes in this are definitely the almond and the plum. Again, you do get some leather down the road in this as well. It's more masculine than most of the other fragrances in this line, and again, it's just the best one. It's going to be a compliment getter. My wife doesn't really like this line very much, just an FYI. This is more of a men enjoyment instead of women enjoyment, but my wife loves this one. L'HOMME EDP Extreme is going to make people definitely like the smell of you. I can tell you that. It's a compliment getter, really good. And it lasts about 7 to 8 hours. Along with the Eau de Parfum, they're pretty much around the same. This one does project above average for the first hour or two, which is a little bit higher than the Eau de Parfum, but they're usually around the same. Guerlain is really good at keeping them pretty centric. Going into the next one on the list, I did want to say I lied about L'HOMME EDP Extreme. It's not the most masculine because I just got this decant in like a week ago. I wasn't even thinking about it, but again, this is the one I've been looking to try to buy. I got it from Scentbox. It is L'HOMME EDP Intense. L'HOMME EDP Intense is going to be your smoky leather take on the L'HOMME EDP DNA. Still has that almond and tonka in there. but the main notes that you get in L'Homme Ideal Intense are almond, tonka, smoke, and leather. While you also do get a nice cardamom throughout this fragrance and vanilla in the dry down, the cardamom is never a center fragrance. That's why I didn't put it in the main notes. It's more of a nice undertone of fresh spiciness throughout the entire fragrance. And then the vanilla comes in the dry down and provides a nice creamy sweetness to really mesh in with that powdery tonka to make it not a super powdery fragrance, which again, I'm not a huge fan of really leather-centric fragrances. I'm not a huge fan of powdery-centric fragrances. And this one I like. The reason is because it's very well blended. When you first spray it on, you get that nice almond, you get that nice tonka. It's because it's just like that rest of the line here. The almond and tonka, it plays a little bit of an underroll in the opening, while you do get that leather and smoke coming in, but it's never too heavy on either. It's not super dark or anything like that. It's just more masculine than the other ones in the line, while still maintaining that sweetness. Again, you get that powdery undertone as well as that fresh spiciness. It can be worn in a lot of seasons compared to the other ones. I would actually say probably every season. With that said, I have only had this for about 4 days, and I'm really excited to dive deeper and hopefully get a full bottle of it. L'Homme Ideal Intense, when you get to the dry down, that smoke and that the smoke and the tonka really do dry down, as well as the leather, which the leather was never super heavy. And then that vanilla comes in to really just mesh together, make it sweeten it up a bit. As again, it just, that darkness that is not super dark just tones down a bit as you get that sweetness coming in. Really, it's one of my favorite in the line. I would say it's probably my second favorite behind the Extreme. I didn't think it was going to be because of the leather and smoke, but it really is. It's nice. If you want a different take on the line, any one of these has pretty much that original DNA with just a few different changes, and those changes really do matter. In this one, it's the leather and smoke, and it does very nicely. In the Extreme, again, it's the plum, it's the tobacco, really nice, best one on the line. And now going into the fifth one. Now we're getting into our freshies, our two freshies that I'm going to be mentioning. The first one is my favorite it's probably my second favorite in the line, actually. I'm going to put L'Intense behind this. This is L'Homme Ideal Cologne. So you used to be able to find this at like TJ Maxx and Marshalls for $30. And I never really got around to it at that point in time. Again, I picked them up this year. And this one is just beautiful. So it's a freshness. It reminds me of something like, not the smell, a Dijon Blanche, because of the way that the citrus is meshing with that sweetness and a little bit of that woodiness. It's actually quite nice. So the main notes in L'Homme Ideal Cologne: grapefruit, bergamot, almond, and musk. While there is also a little bit of a neroli background as well. The grapefruit in this really does come forward, as well as that almond and that musk. The musk comes through as you work your way further into the fragrance, but it's always going to be prominent in the fragrance. The grapefruit and bergamot mix nicely. They're never too citrusy, but you can tell there is a nice mixture of citrus in the opening. Really blended together very well with that neroli in the background, as well as that DNA from the almond and tonka. Very nice. Has that sweetness, but it still maintains that nice freshness. And it's like a citrus. It's just a citrus take on the line. It's really nice. The only thing is the performance on this is quite bad. It's more in the line of, just like I said, a Dijon Blanche. I'd say about 4 hours at max with this. It's good. It's really good, actually. If you can find a bottle under $100, it's definitely worth it. And I like the look of the bottle. All of the bottles are really sick. I like the square, easy look bottles. Really nice. Going into the last one. So again, that's L'Homme Ideal Cologne. The L'Homme Ideal Cologne, I also did want to mention, has a little bit of a spiciness in the opening from the pink pepper. Just wanted to tell you that as well. Looking for the last decant. I think I knocked. Yeah, I did. Okay. The last one on my list is the decant that I had first before I had any of these fragrances, because I knew it was discontinued and I wanted to get it first. I got it from Scentbox, and this is L'Homme Ideal Cool. So L'Homme Ideal Cool is the worst one in the line, so Sport's my least favorite, and then Cool. And it's not bad. None of them are bad except for Sport. I just don't like Sport. L'Homme Ideal Cool is kind of like your green. They were trying to do a green version, so they had their citrus version, they had their versatile version, and then they had their sporty version, which again wasn't good. They wanted to get their green version. It's centered around mint, so cool mint. The main notes that you get in L'homme EDP cool, I'm not even going to show you the decant, what's the point? So the main notes you get in L'homme EDP cool are almond, mint, ambroxan, and bergamot. So based on those notes, it's almond, mint, ambroxan, and bergamot. It's the main things you really need to know in the fragrance. It has that cool greenness from the mint. The mint doesn't seem too synthetic or anything like that. Do I think it's worth a pickup right now, just based on the fact that I know the price is at like $150 or so? No. If you can find it on FragranceNet for probably under $100, I'd probably pick it up. If you're into that type of mintiness, I think it's good. I don't think it's great. It's not one that I would pull above other fragrances. As you get further into the fragrance, it's more just a slightly green tinge with that ambroxan, some muskiness. Overall, it's good. It has that DNA in it, but just very, very dialed back, really centered on that green mint. There is a little bit of like an aromatic herbal tinge to this as well, but overall, it's good. All of them are good. So I would say if you had to pick up 3 from the line, the main 3 from the line that I would pick up, I would probably try the original first, just to see if you haven't tried any of the line, to see if you like that kind of DNA. But extreme to have your fall and winter. To have your spring and summer, get Cologne. And then if you want one that's kind of in the middle, I would pick L'Intense, in my opinion. I don't think that the Eau de Parfum is worth it unless you want to go down the unisex path. And the Eau de Toilette is redundant if you've tried any of the other ones, my opinion. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. And again, I'll be back with another video. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll be back. Peace out.